This is Tekle John reporting live from ECC News Radio on the 75th birthday of Amiri Baraka. Amiri Baraka is one of the most incredible writers of the last century in American literature and a prominent example especially for African-American inspiring writers. Community activists, educators, performers, civic organizers, arts administrators, and many others have come together for the celebration of Baraka here in Newark, New Jersey. Many of the attendees think of Baraka as truly an inspiration as an author, poet, and community activist. Here's what some of those attendees had to say about Baraka's impact on their lives. Up first is Professor Nash, a history professor at ECC.
Well, Amiri Baraka is really, he's our inspiration. We all look to Amiri Baraka because Amiri Baraka, whether you agree with his politics or not, you have to admire the man for his commitment to his people and his commitment to his craft. And it is because of people like Amiri Baraka that we get inspiration. In fact, Amiri Baraka, even though his book and his work is not related to Islam, he was still an inspiration to me because he was someone who did what I always tell my students that they should do. That is, follow your conscience and have the courage to be yourself and share yourself with the world.
Hi, my name is Carol Lucas. I'm an author, motivational speaker, and writer. Amiri Baraka means truth to me. When I was growing up at the Star-Ledger, I often heard people talk about Leroy Jones, the great poet, writer. Then as I began to read his great works, I found out that the city of Newark has a treasure. The world has a treasure in Amiri Baraka. So he means elder to me. He means scholar. He means, great leadership. And I'm really saddened that the city of Newark and some of their former officials have not, I believe, given him the honor and respect that he deserves. But we study him in universities across the world. I think Amiri Baraka, who just celebrated his 75th birthday, has a rich legacy. And I think young people and old people should take a minute and read his writings and his experiences so that it can invoke in us a fire to want to use writing and poetry to challenge people to be about the business of change or education. And I think there's a lot of superficial stuff on the market, but I think Amiri also invokes in me the desire to want to be a critical thinker, not just become a trained puppet of what trends are, what writers are saying, and what the latest blog is, but to really think about how we're living, who's breaking down the doors, who's being the spokesperson for the poor, who's reaching out to our young people. And he came up at a tough time, and he still has not given in to the status quo.
Okay, my name is Troy Hamilton. For him, I think he represents a losing generation of African-American writers. So therefore, he's very inspirational to me and hopefully a lot of people.
So bring down the royal Amiri Baraka for us, please. Amiri Baraka. Amiri Baraka. He's coming with us from the back. Amiri Baraka, everybody.
This was written for the National Black Arts Festival, 1994, called Writers, Critics, and Social Consciousness. And I guess that's why people like to celebrate people when they get to a certain age, because a lot of the people who were there with me are dead. A lot of the writers and a lot of the musicians that I know have gone. And it is ultimately because this is a hard place to live, especially when you're black. Like an old lady told a friend of mine, Marvin X, this woman said, there's nothing wrong with being black, it's just inconvenient. But it's more than that, and that's what I want to talk about. Writing, like all art, wrote Mao Zedong in the Yadan Forum. You should read that, Yadan Forum on the Arts. It was written in 1942 in northern China after Chiang Kai-shek and them had chased Mao and them 3,000 miles, 4,000 miles up to the end of China, whereupon they turned around and killed him off. But he wrote that writing is an ideological reflection of real life. That is, writers express their lives and the life of the world through their ideological prism of class, nationality, that is what some people call race, gender, sexual orientation, plus time, place, and condition. But ultimately, class stand, or point of view, is principle. How you see the world is principle with what you say, no matter what we might be, where we might be coming from originally. So that the writer's expression is personal, in quotes, to the degree it is specific. But at the same time, the work's particularity also renders it a common paradigm, a common example, what they call universal. But it's important to reemphasize that the universal consists of all the particulars. You can't have universal without all the particulars. Like we say, ours is one particular. Our lives, our history is one particular as part of the whole universal.
This is Tekale John for ECC News Radio.